with Proxuma's planning screen. So first of all, what we want to do is make sure that you're seeing the right things here. So we've got these views here. You might not have any view at all, and we're going to add one. I'm going to call it sample view. Now, what this view is, you can really consider it a workflow. So you can have multiple workflows, maybe one for when you're dispatching or planning for one team, maybe when you want to have a full company overview, stuff like that. Now, what these views are, they combine the filters that you have on. This is the filter icon, and these view settings. These view settings are essentially different kinds of toggles switches that you can use to customize just how dense everything is and what the items are that you're seeing. And you can toggle between three density settings here: balanced, compact, and detailed. And all three of those, you're going to be able to customize, as you can see here, balanced, compact, detailed, in the general section. Now, then you also have day, week, month, year. And the only thing that I would draw your attention to here is show days in the month view. If I do that on detailed and I hit update current view here in the bottom, what I've just done is made sure that if I go to a month view, I'm seeing not just the month here, sorry, the week, but also each day in that week. So it's a very broad screen. And I'm able to scroll through all of the days. And for quick navigation, I'm able to click this here, which brings me to that week. Also in this week view, these are all clickable as well, bringing me to a single day. Now, back to the week view. What we've done for you is already made sure that on compact, your column width is 50%, on balanced it's 75, and on detailed it's 100%. What that means is how wide are these columns right here? So these actually make things wider for you. Now, what you might see is a lot of outside office hours stuff. If I do show, I'm seeing all of these columns. These two are your extended hours. These may be extra billable hours for your organization, which you can set up in general settings right in the beginning. And these are completely outside office hours. Some people want to see those, and some people only want to see those when something is planned. That's when you use this toggle. All right. So build out your settings here if you'd like, but then further, you're going to want to filter. Now, for most people, they want to see certain people here. So how do you do that? You go add filter for resources. And then if you've got this figured out right in Autotask, then you can do role or department. But most people just go names and then select the names they want to see. You can also type to search for a name. Or you can go select all and unselect. And remember, you're only doing this one time because you're going to save this whole selection in your view. And so you can always return to it. On my selection, hit apply. Now I've only just applied it to myself here. I haven't actually saved it onto the view. For that, I have to hit update current view. The other place where you can always do that is here. So if I now change something here in my filter and I hit apply, I haven't now updated it to the view. I do that here, save changes. And it's done. All right, so these toggle how compact everything is. They're configurable here. And this filter will allow you to filter who you see. Now, the other big filter that many people need to use is for appointments, because you might still have the Autotask Outlook sync on, and so you're probably seeing double invites. if that's the case. And if that's the case, a good filter to do is for appointments, keyword filter contains service call. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Not contains service call. Because these calendar syncs from Outlook contain the word service call in the beginning, and you don't want to see those because for them you'll also see a card. So I've done that. I'm just going to save changes to my view. So I'm happy with that. Now a quick explanation on as to what we're seeing here. These are the colors of service calls. Blue is a task service call, so the project item. Purple is a ticket service call. And then green is a service call with multiple tasks or tickets. See, this one has a task and a ticket. Everything has a hover over ability, even Outlook, which is yellow. So that is what we read from Outlook. And they even have special tints as well. So there's blue tints, purple tints, and green tints for their appearance based on the physical location or online location, offline that we pull from Autotask, or offline manual entry. These shades can all be set up by you. You can go full color spectrum if you'd like. And then you'll see that reflected here so that at a glance you can see where someone is, not just what they're doing at what time. If you want to see it quickly better, then you can hover over it. And all of these items can be dragged by grabbing the colorful part of the item. That reschedules it. You can also adjust the duration of a service call by going to the edge and dragging it. And the service calls all have these color bars on the bottom. These represent the estimated hours, green, minus the planned hours, dark blue, and then the actual hours are the vertical portion of the little bar. All of these can be seen on the task. So if I edit, I can see estimated hours 20. I can see that there are hours logged, and I can see that there's several service calls filling in the planned hours. So that's the dark blue. Estimated hours 20 is the light blue, sorry, the green, excuse me. Dark blue is service calls, and then hours is the vertical portion of the bar moving ahead. You can, by the way, add worked hours if you'd like. Xing out of here, Xing out of here. That is what this information tells you. All right, so now that we know how to plan and replan, it's time to find the tickets that we do want to plan. For that, we go to the bucket. That's this little icon right here. And in this bucket, you're going to see every single ticket, task, and service call your organization's ever created. We just made sure to be complete. So you're going to want to filter things. Here's your filter icon again. Here's your gear icon, which allows you to determine how many items you see at the moment of opening up using this little arrow. And then the filter is unique for tickets, for tasks, and for service calls. So if you're building out a filter, you have to specify tickets, tasks, service calls, or even companies, projects, and resources. But for the dispatcher, you probably have a ticket filter you want to do. It probably involves status because you don't want to see completed tickets. And it often involves a queue. So tickets with the status new of the queue. Well, I'm going to not have level 1, not have administration, backup. This should be good for me. Notice that I have the and here. There's also an or. You might be familiar with that. Do I want to and tickets with the status new and all of these queues? Or can it be either new or either these queues? Good to remember. Here you would obviously do an and, hit apply, and that should already filter out a lot more of my tickets. I went from 4,000 something to 500. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to update the current view. Now that updates this view, sample view, which is different from this view. These are their own separate thing. So again, you can have a lot of workflows going on. And remember, I've also not filtered any tasks using what I've just done. So then you would have add filter for tasks and perhaps category, priority, something like that. All right. If I go out of here, I've just done nothing with those filters. So remember, you always have to hit apply first. There's also show event types. So you can have no tickets at all if you'd like, or no appointments. It's entirely up to you. Here you can see a lot of information that you can either select or unselect. What I would do here is just make sure that you unselect whatever is never the case for you, what you just never use, because that would just take up clutter. Why? Is because when you hit this arrow, you're already seeing very much the right information at a glance, and it's not taking up any space here. So when we want to drag this service call, sorry, the task into a calendar to create a service call, we just grab it by the colorful part and drop it. You can either go assign to the dragged user or assign to all specified primary and secondary resources. So this is the ticket hadn't been assigned to someone or had already been assigned to someone. What do we do with that information as to the calendar that you're dropping it into? And remember, when you hit apply, you're not already creating one. You still have the ability to X out of it and get rid of it. And we're going to ask you to do some other things. So this is the Outlook section. Select organizer. You can either go centralized organizer or the person who is on the service call. So they can invite themselves, basically. And you can then specify, is it a physical location and I want to fetch the address from Autotask? Or is it online via Teams? Or online not Teams at all? If I go via Teams, it's going to insert the Teams link into the calendar invite. It's also going to allow additional attendees to be invited to the Outlook invite as well, which is typing an email address of the customer that should send the email to them straight away. I'm going to hit save. Now that creates the invite on Outlook and the service call.